Players always focus on developing the skills to help them get better, but rarely do they focus breaking the habits that are holding them back from achieving a higher KD and a better rank in CS2. So in today's video, we are going to cover 15 habits you need to break to rank up in CS2. Once you fix these, you'll see your rank skyrocket in no time. We'll cover everything from habits destroying your recoil control, habits that lose you clutches you should be winning, and even habits that are ruining your movement, making you an easy target. If you're not sure you can trust me, I'm Louis, a 3000 ELO player on Faceit, and I play internationally with Team USA at LAN events around the world. I've included timestamps in the description below, so you can skip ahead or revisit any tip you like. Now, this is one of my biggest pet peeves inside of Counter-Strike, and we're on Anubis because this is the best example that I can give. On CT side Anubis, I see so many people smoke off B main. Now, the reason that this is bad is because the T's now do not have to worry about B main at all because we just smoked it for them. This is a choke point that, as the CTs, we don't want to block unless it's really late in the round and we know there's heavy numbers E-box and we want to fight towards E-box. If it is a simple default round, there is no reason to block B main at all. Now, Inferno is the perfect map to talk about this, which is something that a lot of Counter-Strike players don't understand, and that is neglecting map control. Now, how many times have you guys played Inferno where you just, pretty much molly car, you take top banana, and that's all you do in the round? But we want to think about the push and pull inside of the game, which is the basic fundamentals of taking map control. Now, what push and pulling is as a T, you want to think about how the CTs are moving. So if you take top car, obviously the CTs probably aren't going to move that much. But after this step is what's very important, is that you want to try to take more map control, because once you have car, it's good that you want to come over here and take bracket. So if you want to smoke over here towards arch, you want to have someone in boiler, so then when you molly lane, you can flash off lane, and then all of a sudden now you have bracket, and this pretty much gives you the whole map, which creates that push and pull. Now, something that happens a lot, especially in my 3000 ELO games, is people being a little bit too confident against pistols. And the reason this is a bad habit is because they don't really think about what pistols can do. Now, an example of how to get map control against pistols on a map like Inferno, if your goal is to pretty much just go into halls, the best way to eliminate threats is obviously at the start of the round. You want to make sure that you're mollying bedroom, and this is so no pistols can play in this area, sneak up into bedroom to just play on anyone jumping up into halls, and this is already eliminating one threat. Now, something else that is very scary is anyone pushing long haul. So anyone defaulting over here wants to make sure that they're just playing far back, because if they are too close, there's no trade opportunity, and being super close to a pistol gives the pistol player a huge advantage. So something that you could do is just molly off long haul by trying to line up a molly which bounces all the way to the end of long haul off this door like this, and this will help eliminate another threat. Now, clutching is very important, especially if you're in like a 1v1 or a 1v2 and the bomb is down. Something that you don't want to do is panic. The best tip that I can give for you guys if you are clutching is to just plant the bomb and then pick a spot that is really good to swivel. So if I was in a 1v2 and I just killed someone on A, it's most obvious that the other player is on B. So I would plant in a good open spot like default on Inferno, because I could be playing in apps, I could be lane, mini pit, big pit, or if I knew that he might be flanking from mid, I could even go play somewhere like over towards graveyard and just have a crazy off angle on him running up lane. If you plant in these open spots and then play in a good swivel position like big pit, this will open up the round for you because you have so many opportunities and you can get so much info. The biggest movement habit that I see inside of Counter-Strike is people moving too much. Now, there is this thing where people are doing the dong slide or the Tarek slide, where when they see someone, they're going to be, sliding in the opposite direction, or maybe they're sitting here like ADing while they spray, which is a really good thing to do, but I think a lot of people misinterpret this type of action, because I see a lot of people doing things like the fadeaway peek, where instead of them just coming here, stopping, and then shooting, a lot of people will do what I like to call the fadeaway peek, where they will come and swing and then just run away like this. Now, the reason why this is bad is because when you do this, you have about a 1 to 2 bullet chance of actually hitting a headshot. So you want to make sure that you're not too scared in taking fights. You want to make sure that you're actually committing to the duel and the fight, so then all your bullets don't get messed up. Now we're going to cover the habit that is destroying your recoil control, but first let me tell you about the Monkey. Skins Monkey is a CS2 skins trading site marketplace that provides an instant way to get new skins. The favorite thing about Skins Monkey is that I can trade skins that I no longer want and trade it for a skin that is equal value. If you use code LouisCS2, you get a $5 bonus on your first trade, and if you want to buy skins, you can get a 30% deposit bonus plus an extra 5% using my code. The link is down in the description. Thank you, Skins Monkey, for sponsoring this video. One of the biggest habits that I see when it comes to recoil control is people not pulling down far enough. And one example of this is, let's say that this speck right here on the wall was an enemy. A lot of people would start shooting and then just stop right here and let their recoil go all the way up to the top, almost expecting their recoil to do all the work for them. Now, in order to fix this type of habit, you obviously just have to go shoot at a wall and just try to remember how the recoil works, because once you kind of get a good fundamental idea on how far you have to pull down, you'll start to understand on how the recoil works with the guns. Now, how many times have you guys been caught out when you're pulling out your gun? It's probably an infinite amount of times, and one of the biggest pet peeves that I have inside of Counter-Strike is people that constantly quick switch their weapon, and they pretty much just fall in love with this animation, which makes them die so many times just because they're not able to shoot when they are quick switching like this gun. So if you do like to fidget and quick switching just feels comfortable for you, something you can do is just move your crosshair almost like what Stewie does. Or if you also watch Elige, who is on FaZe Clan, he is someone that will run around the map literally just fidgeting his crosshair up and down. Where he peeks an angle, he'll kind of fidget, he peeks again, he'll fidget, and he says he does this just to kind of stay sharp and locked into his crosshair so he doesn't fall asleep. So if he is ever holding an angle, he would sit here and just kind of fidget his crosshair just so he can keep seeing it. And I think this is a really good alternative as well if you're someone that does like to quick switch when you're holding an angle, or instead of quick switching and seeing this animation, you can pretty much just inspect your gun just sitting here, and maybe it will give you that same satisfaction. Now, one of the worst things that you could possibly do is spray from across the map. So if I was sitting here over towards triple and I knew that the T's were trying to go up cat, I wouldn't want to try to control my recoil in this little gap that I have, because it's going to be very hard. What you want to be doing is just doing short bursts. So if I knew that the T's were going up cat and I was sitting here over towards triple, me just sitting here bursting is going to be a lot more efficient than if I was trying to spray. Because if I turn on impacts right here and I decided to spray this little gap, you're going to see that my bullets are going to be going everywhere, and it's going to be very hard to control. Now, this habit is something that you guys probably would have gotten from playing Call of Duty back in the day. Now, most guns inside of Counter-Strike have 30 bullets, like the A4, the AK, the Galil has more. But something that you guys need to keep in mind is that you can get away without reloading. There's so many times where I see people get a kill towards a ramp, they sit here and reload for no reason at all, or maybe they're sitting here playing towards bottom con and they're simply just trying to spam smokes and then just hitting a reload while being in the open. And this is something that you guys don't want to do and you want to break the habit of, because you can sit here and spam a few bullets and get away with playing the rest of the round with 19. Because let's say they decide to smoke over towards A, now I'm blocked by the right side smokes, maybe I'm checking for the mid lurk, I can get a kill with these 19 bullets and then just hit a good reload while I'm protected from these smokes. Now, force buy rounds and save rounds are very important inside of Counter-Strike, because a lot of times you guys can actually get a good buy off. Like, let's say for example, we're in a half buy round where we want to buy half armor, a pistol, and maybe a few nades with people that have extra money. It's very important that you guys try to plan out a round, because if everyone's just buying a deagle, trying to get a kill out towards A, towards Palace, just swinging mid, taking all these ISO duels, chances are you're going to lose the round 75% of the time. But what we want to focus on, especially on T side, is putting a round together, because you guys can all just buy tech 9s and some flashes and just do a insane B pop and just totally isolate this guy that is just jump spotting over here towards Van. And you guys can take the site and get all of these close positions and just kill anyone trying to come out of market and retake the site. Now, one of the worst things to do inside of Counter-Strike is not clearing angles fully, and one of the best examples on Mirage is over here towards connector, because a lot of people that play con will love to sit in this position here, or they'll sit over here in this corner, or even they'll duck their head behind the box. So if my team wanted to take connector where we had windows smoked, maybe we threw a nice top con smoke, but the CT smoke was still sitting here inside a mid, I asked for a flash inside a con. I want to make sure that I'm coming in against this wall, clearing this angle. Anyone playing this position won't be able to see me. They'll have to swing out to try to kill me. So I'm hard clearing this angle, I'm looking at the box, and then I'm hard clearing this angle here, because there's a lot of times where noobs will just get flashed into con and they'll just try to jump up and quickly hide, and this is what gives them the least opportunity to actually take this space, because they're not clearing anything, because they're more focused on actually taking the space than clearing out that person who plays there. Now, crosshair placement is very important, and some of you guys might understand what crosshair placement is, but this tip is something that I never see anyone talk about. Now, if you watch someone like Donk who plays on LAN a lot, you're gonna see that his crosshair is usually up against the wall when he's trying to clear an angle, but most of us don't have Donk's reaction time. So something that you guys can do to pretty much cheat this system is having your crosshair off of the wall that you're clearing. So if I, wanted to do the whole pre-aim thing and I wanted to peek where I think he would be playing, which is left side con, you would see that obviously I would be totally off and he would just kill me because I'm not aiming for him. So what I want to do to bypass all of that is have my crosshair off the wall like this. So even if this guy was playing in connector, I would have my crosshair off the wall, and you can see that I'm going to land my crosshair perfectly on this. If he did decide to play this off angle, my crosshair would be here and I would be able to instantly frag him. Now, inside your games, you probably get people people that make too much noise or too little noise. So you either have someone that's just constantly running around, just not even caring if they're making noise at all, or you have that one baiter who's just constantly shift walking no matter what. So one thing that you do want to do is that if someone doesn't know where you are, it is okay to just walk. So if it's not obvious what's going on in the round, it's important that you try to hide your position. Now, let's say, for example, that maybe at the start of the round in Palace, I decided to throw this flash back in the corner like this just to be able to take this angle. But if you notice now, my position is exposed, that anyone on a site heard that flash and now they know that I'm in Palace. The CT has no idea if I'm going to stay in Palace or leave, so it's important that I want to walk. If I decide to just stay in Palace and stay quiet and my teammates decide that, you know what, it's time to do an A split, we're going to smoke inside a connector, run up con, this is when I'm able to make noise because the A player knows that at least I was in Palace and he's aware of me. So the worst thing that I can do is to just shift walk out of Palace and get insta headshotted. They know I'm here, so I don't want to hide, which makes it okay for me to make noise. So then I can just swing onto spawn or try to swing out into jungle to help my teammates fight. And I'm really not catching anyone by surprise because they still have the idea that I'm here. So I just gave this example inside a Palace where if I walk out holding shift, I'm going to get instant headshotted. And this is a huge habit that a lot of new players make, but this is the worst thing that you could possibly do. So one thing that I have talked about in past videos is just doing the silent peek. So instead of just trying to hide your position where, oh, they don't know where I am, let me just shift walk out to default, it's important to note that you can still wide swing without making any noise at all. So if you take 2 to 3 steps while swinging, it's impossible for you to make noise because you're not at the maximum velocity to make noise. Now this one is very important because this happens a lot, especially in Faceit pugs, where people just totally accept defeat. So if you're not adjusting to what the other team is doing, then you are most likely just throwing your own game. Let's say the T's keep taking mid and they're simply just smoking window and that's all they're doing. They're smoking window and they're just running out valley. They're just killing your teammates one by one and you have no idea what to do. You can either tell your team like, hey, let's fight mid, or let's just play for one site, because you can let the T's have mid, but you want to make sure that you're either playing for A or for B, which is where the adjustment comes in. So if you enjoyed this video, check out this video on 5 movement tricks you can use to level up your movement in CS2 by clicking the video on screen now.